Well, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to continue going through the white supremacist Peyton Gendron's manifesto, but I saw some things that popped up. I said, no, let me go it on and switch some things up here. So many of us are talking about an anti-black hate crime bill that black people need. That is going all over the country right now. Many black people are saying this. Many people are starting to pick that up, even though it did come from the black grassroots. It didn't come from your rank and file politicians whatsoever. We know the Congressional Black Caucus has been offering these thoughts and prayers, but haven't took a position and say, you know what, we're going to submit an anti-black hate crime bill. They would be the people to put the bill up, actually. And none of them are speaking about this whatsoever. But the Congressional Black Caucus, all of them voted for the Asian hate crime bill, had no problem with that. Clyburn said that we needed to get that bill done because what was happening to Asians. But when it happens to people that look like him, all he wants to offer is thoughts and prayers. There's one of the brothers that lost his mother in the white supremacist terrorist attack. I want you to hear, what this brother's going to say. This is a little short clip of what he's saying here. And it's something that I want to point out that he's actually saying. But let's go ahead and roll that.
For her to be taken from us and taken from this world by someone that just full of hate for no reason, is very hard for us to handle right now. We make no apologies for our suffering and our pain. You can see it. Yeah. We're not going to apologize for that. But we're not just hurting. We're angry. Yeah. We're mad. This shouldn't have happened.
No, it shouldn't.
We do our best to be good citizens, to be good people. We believe in God. We trust Him.
That's right.
We treat people with decency. And we love even our enemies. And you expect us to keep doing this over and over and over again. Over again. Forgive and forget. While the people we elect and trust in offices around this country do their best not to protect us, not to consider us equal.
As you heard, some of it, I understand he's hurting. He lost his mother in a horrific way. And I'm not going to be one to beat up on anybody who lost their loved one. But the few things that he was saying, basically trying to be a good black person, these white supremacists don't care. You have to remember that white supremacist said that we are an enemy to them. It don't matter who you are. That white supremacist has said there's no innocent non-white people. So black people, you need to get it out your head that you're a good person, that you don't commit crime, that you just, you love everybody. So you wouldn't expect a white supremacist to do something like this to you or the rest of your brethren. No. It don't matter if you love God. It don't matter if you love the devil. Because when you say you loving your enemies, no, you loving a devil. That's what a lot of you are doing. You should have some love in your own community first. That's our problem. We don't circle the love in our own community. We give love to everybody else but our own community. We got people, even in our immediate families, that we refuse to talk to. But you'll sit up there and talk to them folks and everybody else who's been doing things to you for hundreds and hundreds of years. You give them the benefit of the doubt. That's been the worst thing that black people has ever done. And a lot of that has come from that black church. This is why I'm so glad that a lot of our brothers and sisters have been rejecting that black church, because rejecting that black church is going to help us to get free. It's going to free our minds from the slave mentality that black church creates. So unfortunately, these group of people have experienced white supremacy in a raw and unadulterated form. When he said that the politicians do their best not to protect us, that's the one thing I wanted to point out. Yes, your politicians do their best not to protect black people. Even politicians that look like you, they do their best not to protect you. Let me tell you something. We already know the Republican Party is not about protecting black people, so let's just go ahead and put that out there. But the Democrat Party is not about protecting black people either. You understand? The Democrat Party will start sloganizing, right? Like they're sloganizing now. Thoughts and prayers, sloganizing. We got to stop hate, sloganizing. White supremacy is, bad for America, sloganizing. But when it comes to the point about, okay, we get that. We get it. White supremacy is bad. You're in a position to do something about it. So what are you going to do about it, sir? Ma'am, what are you going to do about it? Well, we just, got to have some gun control. What? New York State has the most strictest gun laws in the country. What are you talking about? They have great gun control over there. And that didn't prevent the white supremacist terror attack from happening. What else you going to do? Well, we want social media regulation. What? He didn't go on social media and leave some comments to black people. He went in the grocery store and gunned down black people. Do you understand? Do you get that? We have to be very, very clear as black people that we need an anti-hate crime bill. We need reparations, period. We need that. We got to have that. You have to be single, double, or triple issue voters, I will say. On the right wing, they are single issue voters about that Second Amendment. If you're not supporting the Second Amendment, they don't want to hear you. They're not voting for you if you're expecting to get voted in with a Republican Party. Black people got to be, I say, a couple of issue voters, right? Anti-black hate crime bill, reparations. Those two alone, black people got to have. We've been speaking about reparations. Great. We got to add an anti-black hate crime bill to the mantra now. Just as much as you talking about reparations. And we know that an anti-black hate crime bill can be done because we can look over and see how the Democrat Party said they needed to do something about what was happening to the Asian community. And they done something about it. In the area of money, they gave out millions of dollars to talk about even combating that hate. Right now, your Democrat politicians in California and New York, because that's the states that I'm pointing out, they can allocate money right now to black groups to fight against anti-black racism. They can do that. Where is it? Where is Leticia James, the Attorney General? She created a whole hotline talking about, hey, if anybody have discriminating and having hatred for Asians, we got a whole hotline. Black people in New York State that's listening to me, listening to this podcast, get yourself on the phone, start tweeting, start asking Leticia James, where is the hotline for anti-black racism like you done for the Asian community? We need that, ma'am. And if you're not going to do it, you need to tell us why. Because the only way we're going to respond to that is you discriminating against your own people, because you know good and well the calls will be through the roof with anti-black racism. So what's that hotline, Leticia James? Where's that at? Put that on your website. Put that on your Twitter. Let us know what the hotline is so we can report anti-black racism in the state of New York, just like you did for the Asian community. Governor Kathy Hochul, we need those millions of dollars given to the black organizations to fight against anti-black racism. The same thing y'all done for the Asian community. Black people need to say we need the same thing done for us. And if you're not doing it, it goes way past just, oh, they don't do nothing for us. No, that means you hate black people too. You are no different than that white supremacist that went into that store and done what he done. because you do it on a political level. He did it just on a straight white supremacist, savage, violent level. You do it politically, which is actually worse than what he did, because he ended up killing 10 black people. You hurt millions of black people every day with your policies. All this sloganizing, saying social media, talking about gun control. You understand? They need to do something. It's time for black people to demand that they do something. Anti-black hate crime bill. That needs to be always the hashtag. Anti-black hate crime bill. Stop anti-black hate. Anti-black racism. We got to have that trending. We got to keep putting that in their face. We got to do that. Now, we got another problem that we're going to have to deal with. I want to run this clip of Al Sharpton here. We got to deal with that too in the middle of this crisis. Let's roll that.
But it's costing lives, and it's not just lives in my community. And certainly, I'm all over this. I've talked to many of the victims in Buffalo. I'm dealing with George Floyd's family, that in a few days is the 2nd anniversary of that killing. But you can't just fight for your tribe. You've got to say this goes across Jews, Latinos, LGBTQ.
See, what they're doing, and they got Al Sharpton out here doing, they're trying to minimize your pain, black man. They're trying to minimize your pain, black woman. They're trying to, this is the Democrats doing this, okay? They're trying to put so much water in something that it's not, nobody gonna know what the purity of it is anymore, right? They gonna thin it out. When he telling you, you can't just focus on black people, the hell we can't. That white supremacist went to a black neighborhood. That white supremacist killed black people. He didn't do that to all these other groups you're talking about. I don't care what he says in a manifesto about other groups. I'm talking about his actions and what he done. He did this to black people. Do not let the Democrats talk about he anti-immigrant, he anti-Semitic. Oh, he don't like this one, he don't like that one. I don't give a F. I don't. He hurt and harmed black people. He drove hours to go hurt and harm black people. And the conversation needs to stay on black people and talk about white supremacy, and also talk about how your politicians aren't doing nothing to protect black people. And you need to keep throwing up that COVID-19 Asian bill in their face and say you did it for them. Why don't you do it for black people? Give me an explanation why you won't do it for black people. You got to put them on the spot. When y'all have these politicians, you run up on them with your cell phones and you ask those Democrat politicians, hey, due to what happened in Buffalo, black people need protection in this country. This stuff been going on. We look at what happened in Charleston, South Carolina, with Dylan Roof. This stuff been going on for a long time now. Why don't we have an anti-black hate crime bill? Where is it? And put that camera on them. Y'all got to run up on those politicians. All of you that got cell phones, run up on them. Put them on the spot. That's the best way to do it. Your Congressional Black Caucus members, run up on them. Find out where they at and say, hey, how you doing, Representative whoever? I got a question. Due to what happened in Buffalo, what happened in Charleston, to those precious black people at the church, why don't we have a anti-black hate crime bill? Because when I checked the record, you voted for the COVID-19 Asian hate crime bill. You voted for that with no problem. So since you voted for that, why don't you put up a bill for black people? And why can't you do that? Why can't you spearhead the bill, sir or ma'am? You don't need to hold Congressional Black Caucus or nobody. One person can put up a bill. You see, if the Democrat Party was serious about black people, and notice black people, this is the party that you come out and vote for. And when right now, when you need them the most, look at what they're doing. They sloganize it. They're not saying anything. Biden went to Buffalo and didn't promise to do nothing for black people. Nothing. But that's the history of America. They will never willingly do anything for black people. We have to make them. We have to run up on them. We have to make the block hot like we always have to do. We got to keep the pressure on, definitely in the social media space. We got to keep that pressure on. We need everybody to get on code. Anybody off code like Sharpton, they definitely got to be checked right now because you being the enemy to black people talking about all these other groups. I don't care about no other group. He didn't go do that to no other group. He did it to black people. And that's where the conversation needs to stay. And that's what we need to focus on is black people. Period. Because everybody want to talk about Candace Owens and Larry Elder and Jesse Lee. Al Sharpton is no different than they are. He's no different. You know, like when Candace Owens and them start like, oh, what about black on black crime? When Al Sharpton say, well, we can't just focus it on us. What about all these other groups? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same. Al Sharpton is no different than they are. Any of them Negroes like Tamika Mallory, well, sexism is worse than racism. Tamika Mallory said that. Really? Why don't y'all go ask Tamika Mallory that question the next time y'all say, hey, Tamika, how you doing? So do you still think sexism is worse than racism? I got a question about that. And you talking about you supposed to be speaking for black people? See, y'all got to call these people out. It's a time to start calling them out. It's a time. And right now, you seeing where they allegiance lie. Their allegiance lie with white supremacy. Because you trying to muddy the waters for what's happening to black people, you speaking for white supremacy. Because they don't want to do nothing for black people. And black people cannot fall for that okie doke and that trick. Keep the conversation on black people. Because that's what he targeted. That's what he ended up killing, is black people. He had the whole N-word written on that gun. On that gun, he had, here's your reparations. This is what he had, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to hear no other group talks about reparations but us. I don't want to hear no talk about no other group when it comes to this incident. Y'all go in and make all the videos you can on Al Sharpton. Oh my God. Y'all go in, make all the videos you can on Al Sharpton or any of them talking out of line. We can't afford that right now. That's dangerous to black people. Very, very dangerous. He sold out a long time ago. He sold out. So shoot, man, man, forget that. But we got to keep pushing for the anti-black hate crime bill and reparations. We got to keep those words in our mouth at all times. The Democrats need to get tired of hearing us saying anti-black hate crime bill and reparations. And because the anti-black hate crime bill, they can do that right now. They can do that. Somebody said, well, the Republicans, they going to just try to filibuster it. They can try to do that too. And we can give all the smoke we can to them. And Biden can do an executive order just like he did for the Asian community, even if that would have happened. See, the Democrats not even trying to stay in office like that because they say, you know what? Ooh, this is a good way for us to stay in office. Let's go ahead and get this bill put up. Because we'll get, listen, the Democrat Party would get overwhelming support from black people if they would do an anti-black hate crime bill. They would get overwhelming support. But Biden, he'd rather talk about doing a crime bill than doing a freaking anti-black hate crime bill. But we got to stay on these politicians, ladies and gentlemen. We got to stay on them. We got to stay on these bootlicks that's trying to divert the attention away from black people. No, we will secure the tribe. That's it. We only care about the tribe. We only care about what's happening to black people. Everybody else only care about their group. They don't care about me. They don't care about you as black people. They don't care. They have proven that. Their politicians have proven that in these other groups. They don't care about me and you. When the Asians had something happening to them, what happened? Their politicians only spoke for Asians. They didn't say, hey, you know, it's happening to black people and it's happening to Hispanics and it's happening to this one and that one. They didn't say anything like that. They only cared about themselves. But notice no Asian politician or any Asian speaker come out saying, hey, we can't just focus on Asians. Understand what I'm saying? So no, we as black people need to focus on ourselves because we aren't protected. Anybody that's trying to divert the attention, they need to be dogpiled on, literally, in the social media space and called out and suffer a major backlash for doing that. And trust me, y'all can make these people change their mind too. Oh, y'all can. You understand? So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on the podcast today. We greatly appreciate you joining us on the podcast. Make sure you subscribe. That way we will, you'll know at least, let me say that, when we post another podcast. Make sure you click the like button. It's very, very important for us. You click the like button because that way, it spreads through the algorithm. Also, if you enjoy the program, leave us a love offering, and you have left us a love offering. We greatly appreciate that during the podcast. And we know that there's many podcasts you can listen to. And when you came by and listened to ours, we greatly are appreciative of that. So once again, thank you for listening and see you next time.